Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Cassie here and thank you so much for clicking on another video. Okay, so first things first, I just want to say happy holidays. I don't know if you are celebrating any of these holidays, but regardless, I hope that you are doing well, that you are feeling well, and that wherever you are, that you are happy and feeling good. Let's just jump straight into this video. So, as you can tell by the title, today's video is an exciting one. We are focusing on the pros and cons of temping, so let's get into it. I think we'll start with the pros first. Okay, so first up, the number one pro is that you set your own schedule. So, I know that most people who are going into dental hygiene very much value their freedom, their free time, and being able to have a schedule that is flexible. So in temping, you have the most flexibility because you make your own schedule, you set your hours that you're willing to work from, you set the distance that you're willing to travel, and you set the rate that you're going to be getting paid. And I think that that is amazing. That is something that is empowering for you as an individual, as a professional, to be able to have control over those things, is to have control over the way that you live your day-to-day life and take care of the things that you need to take care of. So, some agencies are different than others. There are temping apps and agencies where they give you options. And so they'll say they have a shift from, let's say it's from 8:30 to 6 they need you. And they'll offer you maybe $45 for this shift, and you get to decide whether you will accept it or not. And there are other agencies where you create a profile, you list what your skills are, your experience, and all of those things. And you set your rate, your time, your distance, and everything, and then you are able to create your schedule based on that. A lot of people who are temping also will use multiple different agencies in order to get a complete schedule and have the most flexibility and freedom possible. Okay, so next up, number 2 on the list of pros is that temping at different offices allows you as a professional and individual to network with other professionals, and this is a pro. I have found that a lot of the people that I have met through temping or having temps come and work where I've been working is that you're able to network with a lot of people. This is so valuable because aside from having people who you network with in a professional field, you can forge relationships with people that are meaningful, forge friendships with people that are meaningful, which is also really important. But in having these connections with other hygienists and other dentists, you open up a lot more opportunities for yourself. And ultimately, this is what we want to be doing all the time. Honestly, one of the other really great parts is that you can share jobs amongst each other. So having a network of hygienists who are just close and working in similar neighborhoods and at similar offices, we can share jobs with one another, share contacts with one another, and introduce each other to doctors and offices, and I think that that is amazing, and it presents so much more opportunities for you down the road, and I think that that's important. Okay, so next up, pro number 3 is that being in different offices also allows you to reap the benefits of having different patients in different environments. So, for example, if you are somebody who works in multiple different offices, maybe one day you're in a perio office, maybe one day you're in a general practice, maybe one day you're doing pediatrics, but regardless, you are getting to kind of sharpen your skills in different areas. And I think that this is also beneficial. You can add these things to your resume, which will help you with your overall experience. And I think that being well-rounded, being able to work in more than one setting or more than one type of office is great, allows you to have more flexibility as well. And so I think that just being in different environments is good for you, keeps you sharp, keeps you learning, and allows you also to avoid drama. Sometimes in offices there is just so much drama, but coming in as a temp, you come in, you do your thing, and then you leave. And so you don't have to be involved with any of those things. And that, I think, in itself is a pro. That should be like a bonus pro. Okay, so finally, wrapping up the pros, I think that the biggest thing and the biggest idea about temping is that you are in full control. And so if you are somebody who needs a schedule that's flexible, who needs to be able to take a day off if you need to take a day off, then temping is a great idea for you. This is a good way to think about structuring a schedule. If you have to change your entire life and your entire schedule to be able to fit around a job, it's much more difficult to do. It requires a lot more sacrifice, and sometimes a lot more sacrifice than you actually realize. And so in temping, if you book yourself for a week, you kind of have a baseline idea of what you're going to be making for that week, just as if you had your regular full-time employed job. But you can also just take time off whenever you need to, unlike at most jobs where you have to put in your requests for time. Maybe you have days that are blackout days that you can't just take off when you feel like it. And so being in complete control of your schedule might be that last thing that is important in order for you to live your life the way that you truly desire. And so I have found that temping has been great for me to be in control of my schedule and in control of when I can take days off and not, has been great. It has allowed me a lot more freedom that I get to go into work and do my job and leave. I think that is probably one of the most empowering things. If you're interested, I highly recommend giving it a try. All right, so now we're transitioning into the cons. And so first things up on the cons list is gonna be that going to different offices, you never know what to expect. So the reason that this is a con is because if you show up for the day and let's say the doctor's really mean, the office is kind of dirty or dingy, or end up in a place or end up committed to going to a place that you just do not want to be at. So next up, con number 2 is that in a lot of offices, the schedule will fall apart. And so if the schedule falls apart, the way that this affects you is that the doctor or the office may ask you to leave early, to take a longer lunch, or maybe to come in a little later so that they don't have to pay you for the patient's canceling. And this will definitely affect you. And the reason that this is a con is because if you are trying to plan your schedule ahead of time and know how much money you're going to make and budget and do things like that, you have to take into account that maybe the day you booked, you were supposed to make $350, but because patients canceled, maybe they didn't want you to stay around or whatever, you end up for that day making $250. That's something to consider, is that, the schedules change. You really don't know what you're going to be walking into, and so you have to just be prepared that maybe you won't make that number that you thought that you would, and you have to be okay with that and structure your schedule in a way where, hey, might be a little bit less. Am I still going to be okay? Okay, so next up, con number 3 is that working in different offices is going to give you a different travel time, maybe a different time that you have to wake up to commute and things like that. And so that's something to consider, is that your schedule, although you are in full control of it, might not be you waking up at the same time every day or going to bed at the same time as well. So that is something to consider when you're making your schedule, is that you have to factor in how much time it's going to take you to commute to this place. If you need to be there early so that you can check out the office and get yourself ready. If this office does morning group huddles, that you'll be there so that you can go over what is expected of you in the office for the day. And so that is something to think about. Last but not least, con number 4 is that you have to be really good at time management, and you have to be really organized in order to be somebody who temps. Because let's say you're working in a different office every single day, they don't start or end at the same times, you know, your schedule might be a little bit complex, but it works for you, it's functional for you. However, in order to make sure that you're showing up at the right office at the right time, it is extremely important to be organized and clear about where you're going and what you're doing, because you do not want to show up to the wrong place on the wrong day, or do anything like that. Because if you commit to working somewhere and then you don't show up, all of these apps have some sort of way of penalizing you. You might not be able to book a job for 7 days, 12 days, 30 days, things like that. They will punish you for canceling, for not showing up, and things like that. So that is something to consider. You have to be on top of your time management. You have to be organized. And so I would definitely recommend getting a calendar, writing out the offices, the names of the offices, the locations, or if you have an iPhone, a great thing you can do is just use your regular calendar. You can put in the name of the office and attach through Maps the location, the address, and put the time that you start and finished your shift. And then this will be easy. That way when you're leaving in the morning, it'll pop up on your events calendar where you're supposed to be at what time. And so that is an extra little hack. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly hope you enjoyed. Pros and cons of temping as a dental hygienist. If you guys have any questions about temping or anything at all, please leave your comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please share it with somebody who you know will enjoy it too. See you guys in the next video. Bye.